Hello everyone, welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith. We're going to continue our playthrough of HEXplore It, the Valley of the Dead King. Our party currently sits inside of a shrine number 2 actually, where we had acquired a talisman. Now this is where we were deciding in the last episode what we should do next, and there's so many options. Now first off, the Dead King is literally one step away from taking the next target city in the central area of the map. So that's going to be a problem for us because that's going to increase his movement and make him quicker. So the thing is, a part of me wants to try and chase him down and collect a bunch of talisman and try to, slow him down. But he's picking up speed at such a quick pace now that I don't know if it's as much of a priority as I want it to be. I'm thinking what I'm going to try to do is really take advantage of this helpful commoner here. Because this helpful commoner, as you can see right here, it has this really cool ability at the very bottom. It says, keep the card until you return to the city. If the helpful commoner is still alive, you gain double the rewards for each quest you turn in. And we talked about this last time because I have this quest I'm trying to finish off if I can ever find the right tile for it. The bounty quest here, we haven't actually tried this one yet, but I think at this point in time we would be powerful enough to go down here and try to take this one to get some gold and a power card. These aid quests, this one here happens to be right here, so it's not that far away from us. And this aid quest is really close to us, and it's just right here. And the other cool thing, as a party, we picked up this teleportation rune in the last round. We got this from the shrine that we're currently at. And that teleportation rune says that we can teleport the group to any hex on the map during the movement phase. And you're considered moving normally. While using this item, only one can be carried per hero. So what I'm trying to decide to do, or what I'm hoping to do here, is, at least from what I'm understanding, it says here that you can use it. Oh, that's actually really cool. So we're going to be, I have a plan, and it's a partial plan that I also think came from Mariucci J from the last video. He put out a comment that I thought was really interesting, and I'm going to follow through with it. I'm going to go ahead with it and give it a shot. So he's got a plan essentially where we should camp at the shrine where we currently are at and gain something called a blessing, which we don't even have one of these yet, but essentially they're blessings. You can only gain one of these from each shrine once per game, and it's kind of an effect that basically will bolster you forever. So they're actually noted on the battle mat over here to the left. You can either have good fortune, haste, holy endurance, or sun. Now all of them actually correlate to a particular shrine, and the shrine we're on is number 2, so it's the blessing of haste. This is going to increase the group's movement rate by 1 hex. So this is actually going to move us to a 6 normal movement and 3 cautious if we happen to camp here, which I think is really useful, because if we do happen to get in a situation where we want to start grabbing talisman from shrines and things like that and moving quickly, 6 hexes is a lot. We can really get around. I mean, even from where I am at now, if I had 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you can basically, by pushing your movement and moving a little recklessly, get to a city in 1 turn. So that's really, really cool, and I think that might be something that's strategically worthwhile. So we're going to try it anyway and see how it goes. So the first thing I'm going to do, starting off the game turn, is I'm going to choose to camp. And so when I choose to camp at the shrine, the generic thing that you would do when you first camp at the shrine is you're going to spend your time healing, exploring the surrounding countryside. We're going to heal 3 extra health and energy this turn, but all of our vitals for both of our characters are fully up. I just realized now that the summoner, actually, I haven't actually fully written in the vitals, but my vitals should be at 10 and 8. And over here with the Guardian, we have a full 11 and 8. And we went up so much in the stats in the last one. So we're going to go ahead and move on with the next part of the camping. It says roll only the Explore and Survival die with a -1 bonus to the roll result, because of course we camped, so things are a little easier for us. So we're going to take the blue and yellow die, roll them for the Guardian. And those are actually fantastic rolls. Man, I'm doing really good with those. And we'll do the same for the Summoner. Oh, not as good. And we'll put them back. We're going to get -1 on each of those. And the other thing here is we can, in addition, we can discard a circumstance you roll this turn, but we are camping in a shrine, so we will be moving right to the event phase and skipping the circumstance phase anyway. So let's go ahead and resolve all of our dice first. So the first thing we'll do here is do the Explore die. So we definitely pass with this. Is a 3 -1. Now you have to remember, because we camped, it's a -1, and then on top of it we have the helpful commoner, so technically it's actually a 1. So in this case, we actually we hit A hex, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong on this, maybe this is something the designer of the game watching can potentially chime in on. If I have a helpful commenter that takes -1 off the 3 to 2, and another -1 that's taken off because I'm camping, does that technically mean I rolled a hex, or do I actually have to roll the hex in order to gain that hex reward? I'm going to go ahead and say that in this case, I would have rolled a hex based on those 2 -1s. So what that's going to allow me to do is it says here that each hero can gain 1 extra health, but it's not helpful anyway, so I'll just take the gold as per normal. So the gold that you normally get when you successfully pass and explore is 2, so we're going to go ahead and gain 2 gold. That's good. We're going to come over here and take a look at the summoner. The summoner needed to get, oh, look at that, 4, and we had a -1 and another -1, so that's going to be 2 gold for the summoner, so we'll take away this 1 and put a 3. That actually kind of looks like 13, so I'm going to do a quick edit on that. Get rid of this just so that we don't get confused and think we're rich. There we go. So now we're at 3. We'll go over here to our food. We found food for our guardian, so that's awesome. No food needed to be taken down. And then over here on the summoner, we did not. Didn't come anywhere close to finding the food we needed. So we're going to have to drop from 6 down to 4. So let's do that. All right. That should be good right about there. And the only reason this is getting a little harder for it to come off is because, well, time has gone past, and I haven't actually consumed much food in this playthrough for quite a while. So we've done that, and we've resolved all the skill dice. Now the next thing we're going to do is go into this blessing, because this is for our event. And again, we said blessings are special bonuses the group earns when they camp, and they spend a turn in the shrine, cost no gold, and remain with the group throughout the rest of the game. So we're going to go ahead and gain the blessing of haste. So that's pretty awesome. So this is also going to allow us to, and it's also including moving cautiously, this +1 bonus. So that's really good. So we're going to be bumping this up to a 6 and a 3. And it looks like these haven't honestly been changed since the beginning either. As you can see, they're getting a little bit harder to take off. Now, just to know, guys, there's a really easy way to get these off, so don't worry about it. And also, I'm leaving my game out all the time, and typically you're supposed to clean these off after you play, so that's why it appears to be a little bit of a struggle to get them off. Normally, they just wipe super easy. So 6 and 3, that's really good. But that essentially is going to end our turn, because that is the event phase, and now we've resolved that, so the Dead King is going to go ahead and resolve its turn. And we know the Dead King is going to be heading towards its target zone, so sadly the Dead King here is going to... Alright, so we're going to go ahead and initiate the Dead King. The Dead King has a movement of 3. Well, he doesn't even need to consume all 3 of it. He's landed on his target spot, and he's taken over the central city, which is, if I can do a quick reference here to the central city in the sheets here, I'm going to figure out which one has gone down. I guess it was Restwind Dale. This is actually one of the ones we started on, so he's taken over that. So we'll take a token to represent the fact he's now taken this city over as well. So now he's got 3 of them taken out. And we're also going to have to come over here to his movement and increase it by another 1 for subsequent rounds for his movement, which is nasty. On top of this, we're going to have to also move the black market, which is up here, and figure out where the black market's going next. So we're going to do a roll to find out the direction first. Direction is going to be northeast. And how far are we going? A hex. How far? Oh, a hex would, I guess, would just be... Oh, a hex, I guess, in this case, would be 6, if I'm not mistaken. How about that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So we're gonna, on the 6-sided die, the hex is a 6. So it's gonna be 6 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow, that puts the black market way over here. But that's actually not bad, because it is kind of moving us in, or it's moving towards where we're actually planning on heading. So it isn't that bad. Okay, so that's going to end this game turn, and now we're going to go to the next game turn, and now I'm ready to go, and I'm raring to go. We've now got 6 movement with the party. We want to really get moving, and we can move normally here, and my plan is to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up to this quest up here. And this was the aid quest, so I'm going to jump all the way to here. We're moving normally. We're not going to introduce this event just yet, because we still have to deal with the skill checks. But I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about the aid quest when we get there, so that we can re-remind ourselves about what we're actually doing, because that one came up way at the beginning of the game. We never did it. Skill checks for a normal move for us is going to be green, blue, and yellow, so we have to roll all of our dice. So we're going to be rolling all of them here for the Guardian. And we get a -1 check because of our helpful commoner. and we got a 9, we got a 2, and we got a 6. Okay, and we're gonna come over here for the summoner, do the exact same thing. We got an 8, we got a 3, and we got a 4. Those are actually really good rolls. Those are fantastic. Okay, so let's start with the navigate die. So first off, we would be normally wandering because I definitely failed that. I was supposed to get, even with a -1, it would be 8. That's not enough. So that's a wander, or it could be a wander if the summoner wasn't to pass. But the summoner did pass. But as I've always reminded you guys, we do have this really cool item that nobody else probably has when they're playing through the game, which allows you to ignore any wander results as long as you haven't used the astrolabe yet. So we wouldn't even wander even if half our party members couldn't get a success. That wander thing is really nasty because at the end of the day, if I was to fail with the guardian and I was to fail with the summoner, we would be wandering. But that astrolabe has really helped us to not wander. It's just a nice thing to have. I've really been taking that thing for granted because I think that would really be punishing us in our strategy if we didn't have it. So the other die to go through is HEXplore die. I got a 2. -1 is technically another hex, but the health boost is not going to do anything for us. But hey, it's some more gold. So I'm finding gold like crazy with my Guardian. My Guardian just seems to have a nose for finding the exact spots to get gold. And you know what, guys? I just remembered that we have the Enhancifier, and I totally forgot about that. What a horrible thing to forget about, because that allows me to get double the gold. So this value should be 8, and I'm sure you guys were screaming at the screen and saying, "You fool, you should have more money than you do." Well, there you go. This is going to actually also impact the summoner, because the summoner got 2 in the last one, so should have had 5 before we even resolve the next, or this particular explore check. And we got a 4 that matches, so we're going to be going up by another 2 times, or plus another 2 because of the enhanced fire, so it's going to be 4 on top of 5 is 9. That's really good. This is where the enhancifier is really helping us out, giving us a ton of gold. Okay, so there's that. Now we're going to move over to the survival check, and in this case I failed it, so I'm going to have to consume some food here from, looks like I was at 3 down to 2. So we're going to have to start thinking about food here for the Guardian. I'm getting quite low. Coming over to here to the summoner, same thing, majorly failed on the food side of things, so we're going to have to drop myself from a 4 down to a 2. If I can get this to erase. This one seems to be a bit harder, likely because the summoner hasn't had to eat much lately. But we are definitely going to have to get our heroes into a town and get some food soon. Okay, so now we've finished with the checks. We landed on a quest, so because we've landed on a quest, the wonderful thing about this, actually, because we technically landed on a quest, and we didn't land or end our movement on a city, shrine, boss, or rune location, we actually have to do, or we go through the circumstance phase right now, which is something we kind of wanted to do, and this is part of my plan to try to clear this area out, because I want to try to get something that my summoner can summon, so let's hope that this circumstance phase helps us. So we got a 1. So what does a 1 do? Oh no, the only bad thing. Ugh, that's not good. Maimed. Draw 1 more card. The heroes have overexerted themselves attempting to cross dangerous terrain. Well, I guess we tried a little too far. Roll the 6-sided die, and each group member loses this amount of energy from their maximum pool to a minimum of 1. The loss is temporary and only lasts until the affliction is lifted. This affliction remains for 4 game turns or until you rid yourself of the condition. Alright, so I looked into it a little bit further about this card, which is very nasty. It's an affliction. We haven't had it before, but I'll explain to you exactly what happens here. So essentially this is maimed. It says draw 1 more card, so we will be drawing a card off the top of the circumstance deck in addition to this affliction, which is nasty, so I have no idea what else could potentially happen. But on top of this, we have to roll a 6-sided die right now, and then each group member is going to lose that amount of energy from their maximum pool to a minimum of 1. So when it's talking about maximum pool, it's not talking about your vitals, if I'm not mistaken, it's talking about your maximum stats, and this is a temporary loss, so basically you're maimed and you can't use as much energy as normal, but then once this has counted down through 4 game rounds and disappears, or you happen to go to a shrine or potentially get a critical success on your survival skill, things like that, you can get rid of afflictions. So we have to try to get to a shrine, really, unless we really hope to get a survival, which is a blue die critical success, which is tough to do. Although we have hit that quite a few times. But anyway, we still have to go ahead. We'll put this 4 on here just to represent we need 4 game rounds worth of being maimed before this disappears. And then we have to roll a 6-sided die to determine how much each group member is going to lose from their maximum pool of energy here. So hopefully it's not too high. Oh my gosh, that's a lot. That's really bad. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and drop our energy down to, well, I guess technically this is going to be... let's go ahead and do this. Let's put, just so we don't forget the value, I'm going to put the value right up here as 8 in smaller letters and then a big 5 here. So this is kind of like our max now. I know that makes no sense the way that that's structured. I should probably do that in a different way now that I think about it. That's pretty terrible. Let's put a better 8 on it for sure. This is kind of the norm number, but 5 is the one we're going by. So let's do something like that. And then we'll come over here, and of course we lose... oh, shoot, what am I doing? Nope, sorry. I'm crushing my math skills pretty badly right here. So this should be a 3. So basically we only have... because we lost 3 energy from our max pool, which also means we can't technically have, as a vital, 8 currently, so we have to drop this down to 3. That's really bad. That really caps us. And to be totally honest, if we were going after a boss or trying to reclaim a city or anything like that, this would be bad. But again, circumstances only pop up if you don't go to shrines and certain locations on the map. So we could have avoided, I guess, in different cases. But we don't know what's going to happen all the time, and this time the circumstance got us good. So we're going to go ahead and drop this down as well. That's another 8, so we can do the exact same thing we did on the opposite side. We'll just do an 8 inside of a side box, make this a 3. We're going to have to erase this 8 and put in a 3 instead. There we go. All right, we've suffered from the maimed condition. Thank you very much. That was pleasant. So we're going to take this condition. We're going to have to put it over here. It'll be something else we're going to have to remember when we go through the end of round. So it's going to be on 4 right now, and every single time a round goes by, we'll be ticking that down, and that's fun. So moving on to better things, hopefully. We got to pull another circumstance card out. So here we go. Hopefully this isn't bad. It's an event this time. Hunter's Bounty. You've been fortunate hunting this land. For each hero, roll survival. Well, that's convenient. We need to roll survival to get rid of this thing, but I don't know if I can use it right now or not. For each hero who succeeds, the group rolls 1 10-sided die. Each hero gains food equal to... oh, that's perfect. And we're low on food too. That's awesome. This die can hexplode. Cool. That's good to know. Okay. So in that case, let's go ahead and roll our survival die. So we're going to go ahead and roll for the Guardian, and we're trying to... we're rolling for survival. We have a 3. We also have a helpful commenter. It's going to reduce this number by 1. So here's hoping this ends up being good. 7. Okay, so I failed that. That wasn't good. It does say for each hero who succeeds. So again, I have to roll for each of these heroes. So let's go ahead and do the Summoner. Come on, Summoner, you can do this. Get some food. A 4. A 4 minus 1. Ugh, really? I guess that's probably my weakest stat is my survival. So I didn't get anything on either of those. That's tragic. Okay, so that's essentially the end of that one. That one did not go to plan. But we'll go ahead and replenish the circumstance area. And we got some raiders, so that's good. I'm glad I didn't have to face that, because that probably would have been really bad timing based on the fact that I just lost a ton of energy. But the cool thing is now we have a powerful card in reserve that the summoner can potentially summon later. So that's not bad. So we'll put that up in the 1 position. Okay. So that was the whole circumstance situation. Now we're going to move into the event phase. So in the event phase, because we stopped on a quest, we're going to go ahead and try to attempt to do the quest. So the quest that we stopped on is up here at the mine area. And we remember reading this way back. It was this one right here. And it was an aid quest. It said, the halflings are invited, have invited themselves to the Dwarven Iron Mine. The dwarves have invited you to escort them back out, bring them to a city. Until you do, reduce your movement by 1 hex when moving normally each turn. Challenge. They must have loved exploring that mine. They've asked you to take them to another. Locate another dwarven mine. They share the same map icon and take them there. they'll give each hero 2 luck stones. Now this is what's cool, and this is where I wanted to surprise you guys, because I remember reading this from way back, and I remember reading that and going, 2 luck stones, that sounds fantastic. And in combination with a viewer who watched my last video and gave amazing suggestion about how we could essentially kind of maximize our turn here, I'm going to be able to potentially use my teleportation rune in order to get over to this other side really quick and complete the quest very, very fast. And that's really cool. So, and I'm also going to be able to do the challenge because I'm going to be able to teleport straight to another mine area. If you can see that icon right there, that matches the exact same icon that's underneath my particular area that I'm sitting on. And that's what that challenge is referring to. The space has to, you have to be going from a mine to a mine to go ahead and get this optional challenge portion. Otherwise, it's just a normal quest. So this is really, really cool. So what we're going to end up doing here is, first off, typically this quest right here is just a matter of us doing it. What I'm going to do, because I'm just trying to think here whether I can do this now or not. I had the teleportation rune. Technically, I moved my 6 to get on this space. And then when I was on this space, I tried to complete a quest. So I now have these guys. And I'm technically now escorting them because I had them here as individuals. So I'm guessing on the next turn, I can use my runestone. So that's where I get a little bit, that's where I wonder a little bit. A part of me thinks that maybe the previous individual who thought I could do this runestone while moving. And that's kind of where I'm debating now. Could I have done that while I moved? Teleportation transports the group to any hex on the map during the movement phase. You are considered moving normally while using this item. You know what? Why not? Let's just do it, because at the end of the day, the circumstance we just went through is still the same. We moved normal to go from the shrine to here anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and use the stone in order to fire myself all the way over there, and we'll complete the quest right now. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to use that teleportation rune. I know I'm doing this a little out of order, but essentially in order to remind you of what I did during this particular turn, essentially I was at the shrine, I moved 6 normally, and then what I would have done was taken this aid quest immediately into my area, and then I would have gone ahead and we would have done the teleportation rune over to this mine. Then we go through the circumstance we just did. We got maimed and all kinds of terrible things happened. We tried to find food and it didn't work out, and then we're here right now. So the only difference being is I just did a little bit out of order, but I think this is much better of a strategy. So now I'm coming over here and I teleported to this mine, and because I'm here at this mine at this particular time frame, now after the circumstance resolve, which is what just happened, I can actually complete the quest based on the game turn or the game phases. So I can actually turn in this aid quest and complete it. And I've done exactly that. So what we're going to go ahead and do is, I can't turn this in, I should say. I have to wait till I get into a city. But I can flip it over and say it's complete. And I've successfully done it on 1 turn thanks to that teleportation rune. So that's really, really cool. The other thing that's really awesome is the fact that the helpful commenter is still with me, so that's going to bolster the rewards I get on this. The other thing that's super cool is because I teleported to the edge of the map, we get to reveal a new map tile, which is awesome. So let's go ahead and grab a map tile and see what we get. We got J. So let's see here. We got... that's a really nasty monster. I don't think we haven't even fought the 2nd level monster yet, but there's a 7, so that one's pretty high on the scale. There's a couple other areas up here. Looks like there's a keep and a couple maybe, I'm not sure what those are actually. Those might be tied to quests, but I'm not 100% sure what those are. I don't think I've seen a couple on the game board, but I don't think a quest is pointed to one just yet, so I'm not sure what they are. But regardless, I can orientate this however I want. So, yeah, I don't know which way is better. Maybe I'll do it kind of like this, I guess. Does that work? Yeah, that'll sit okay. So now I've surrounded myself with land, so I'm all good there. And I've revealed this. Actually, you know what? I just realized J is the one we need, if I'm not mistaken, for... yeah, J's the one we need for a quest arc. That's fantastic. So I can actually go do this now. I can actually finish this. Let me see here. J, a local lord. Yeah, that's the keep. That is the keep. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, so we might actually be able to complete this quest arc, and if we get really lucky, we can actually complete, well, not during this turn, but in future turns, have multiple quests completed, head to the city, and the helpful commenter will disappear, because it says keep this card until you return to a city, but then we get double the rewards on all of our quests when we cash it in, so we're really just milking the system like crazy. We might as well, because this pile right here is going to be a lot, because we already completed a quest under here. It was like quest arc, right? So it was different than normal. That's cool. So now we're going to go ahead, we might as well put a quest token, the one that we didn't have, on this keep here so we don't forget about it, because we want to head up here next turn. That's really important. Okay, so that essentially resolves the event phase. We are now done there. And we roll around to the Dead King's phase. So we all know what happens with the Dead King. When he's already taken over a city, he's going to try to target the next city. So we're going to roll a d6 here to find out which one he's going after next. And if I'm not mistaken, we got 5, 4, and 3 left. So those are the only ones he could potentially roll, and we have to keep rolling until he hits one of those. Well, that was easy. Looks like he's coming towards me this time, so that's unfortunate. He's coming in my direction, so he's heading over there next turn. So that's what he's going to do. Now we're going to go ahead. We're also going to knock down our maimed condition. We're going to drop that down to 3. So we have 3 more rounds of suffering before our stamina kind of bolsters back up, or our energy, I should say. We also have to roll to find out where the black market goes. So we're going to roll for the black market. It's still moving northeast. It's actually kind of heading off the board, so that's going to be interesting too. If it actually heads out in that direction, I'm guessing it just stops at the edge. Yeah, it hits 3, so it's going to go right to the water's edge, I guess, and stop. I don't even know if it can do that. But I'm going to put it there because that's what it said. One thing I'm going to double check on really quick is the black market reference sheet, because this may actually let me know how this thing potentially moves. Let's see here. Black market roams. The first result becomes a direction, and the second becomes the number of hexes moved. The black market may reveal new map tiles if it crosses the border, where it may place a new one. It doesn't specify on this reference sheet whether or not. I mean, this is as far as it could go anyway, but I just don't know if it can go into water, I guess is the question. I guess there's some debate there. Someone might say it should just stay on the land, because I don't think it can go out to sea. But technically, we can go out to sea to fight monsters, so you know what? I think it can. So we'll put it out there. All right, so that is the end of this round. So let's go ahead and do one more, because we're so close to this next quest. Let's just do it. Now the cool thing is we're able to move cautiously 3, and from this position I can go 1, 2, 3, and I can move here cautiously, which is awesome. And when I'm moving cautiously, I can I'm only going to be rolling a blue and a yellow for each of my individuals. So let's go ahead and do that. We got a 9 and a 5. That's probably the worst roll I could have ever rolled. So for the Guardian, really bad. And the we got a, oh no, is that good? Is that what we needed to get rid of the Affliction? Oh, this could be great. This could be great. Okay, so hold on. Try to calm down, see if I can survive this. So I got a 9. That's an obvious fail, so there's going to be no gold because I didn't hit my check. Coming over here to the Tempest, an 8, -1, nowhere close. Same thing with the Guardian, -1. Doesn't matter. We're so high on those rolls. No gold for us. Blue-wise, let's talk about this one first. So 5 -1 is just shy of the survival requirement. Oh, that's nasty. So that's actually going to have us eat some more food, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is. So that's too bad, which means we're down to, oh wow, yeah, we need to get to a city. We're getting into hunger zone here. I've only got 1 more food left on my Guardian. And then I'm going to come over here, but we hit a hex on the summoner, and what does that let us do? So let's take a look again. It says, if you roll a hex on your survival skill check during the skill phase, each hero regains 1 lost energy. Well, that doesn't help because our max is 3 because of our Affliction, so 1 lost energy is not going to give me anything. Or you end any ongoing afflictions that affect the group. Goodbye, Maimed. Thank you for showing up. That was easy. What a perfect timing to get that hex. I don't think I've rolled a hex on the survival die yet. So that was fantastic. So now this means that our energy is going to go back up to 8, which is awesome. Now, this is something that I want to throw at the designer if he's watching the game. I've had questions individuals have asked whether or not when you increase your actual maximum stats, do your vitals increase by that amount? So if I'm going from 3 to 8 on my maximum, am I upping my actual vitals as well, or do I need to go to a city or do something else in order to get my vitals back up? I went ahead, I think, and increased my vitals last time, and I had someone say, where does that say that in the rule book? And I wasn't able actually to find it either. I just assumed it. So I'd like to know if anybody does happen to know whether I should be bolstering that up. I'll leave that for you guys to mention in the comments below, and then if we have to increase that, we will. But because we're not fighting anything, it's not going to change into the gameplay to continue into our quest. So, with all that said, we've now gone ahead and we finished off the cautious movements. So we're going to go ahead now, and we are allowed to discard the circumstance we roll this turn, but we do have to go through a circumstance phase. So I can discard it though if I don't like it, which is good to know because it may not be nice. We got a 5. Okay, so what is a 5? It's in a treasure. I don't think I'm going to be wanting to discard this. So this is probably good. Enchanted Hourglass. You found a mysterious golden hourglass. The sand inside it glows with energy the moment one or more group members would die. At the end of a combat round, roll a 10-sided die and add the result to each of the dead members' current health. This die may hexplode. The hourglass crumbles to dust. This is incredible. This could really help us out when we go after the Dead King, or the Dead King comes after us later on, plus any situation where we're going to die. And to be totally honest, we do have our Angel-born ability here on our Guardian, which is allowing us to come back from the dead, essentially. And I also have a Shifter ability that allows me to copy my other ability and use it. So now we've got kind of almost life insurance upon life insurance with this Enchanted Hourglass. This is awesome. So I'm putting this here. That's super helpful and will definitely be useful down the line. Okay, this is going really well. Like, this last turn was incredible. I got rid of the Affliction. We got ourselves basically a get out of death jail card, I guess you could call it. I don't know what you want to say, a revive card of some type. Lucky Rabbit's Foot. There's another treasure for me to potentially find. Things are turning around for me right now. Okay, so now that that is done, we've done the circumstance, we're going to move into the event. So the event is where I currently am, and that is going to be this right here. So what are we doing for this? Let's take a look. So it's a survival. It says, a local lord has organized a tournament to find heroes worthy of opposing the growing undead menace. You may test your mettle in feats of strength, agility, and fortitude. Brute. If the Brute is currently in play, you can do this as an optional quest, blah, 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 blah. We do not have a Brute. We have a Guardian and a Summoner, and we don't have any race class that lines up with the Brute, so that's not going to work for us. But we can try this top one with a typical success. We just need 1, and we need it on the, looks like it is the survival die, which makes sense for this particular check. So let's go ahead and roll. We just need 1 success. I've got a 2. That's not very good, but remember, I get a -1 because of my helpful commenter. I got a 5, that's still fail. Let's go over here to the Guardian, who has a little bit better of a chance. I can get a 4 or lower and still pass this. And I failed. Okay, so that did not work. I'm stuck there, wasting my time a little bit. So that's too bad. I thought I might be able to make that work. I just want to let you guys know of a really cool power that I have with this astrolabe. So basically, I've had this astrolabe the entire time. It came with 2 uses, and the 2 uses are mentioned like this. It says, while you carry it, you may choose to ignore any wander result. We've known that for the entire game. I've been using that to my advantage a lot. But it also says, in addition, this item may be used twice per game in order to grant the group an extra movement and event phase. In doing so, the group may move again and complete 1 event at the new location. This power may be used any time outside of combat. Upon the second use, the item's magical nature fades and it becomes a mundane item, so basically it falls away. I have 2 uses on this, and I don't really use it. I don't want to use both uses because mainly then I can get trapped in the situation where I could potentially wander when I want to be ending my turn in a certain spot. But I do have technically 1 free use without actually burning out the astrolabe. And I'm really tempted right now to go ahead and do this again before the Dead King's turn comes around. But I'm not 100% sure that's what I want to do, or whether I should wait until a future turn to use it, because it sounds like something that essentially gives you an extra movement in an event, which is almost like a double turn, and that's really powerful. Could really come in handy sometime, and I just don't know if it's worth trying to use it to roll the survival die again I don't really know if that's a really good use of it. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead, and we already know the Dead King has a target. We already know the Dead King's going to move. So I'm going to go ahead with the Dead King's turn. We're going to resolve that, but I'm also going to toss it back to you guys to ask you whether or not you think I should go forward with another move, another event. And I'll be doing it kind of in reverse if you say yes to it. But that's okay. And if you say no, we just continue on. So we'll finish out the round so everything's clean cut. So we're going to go ahead with the Dead King here. Dead King moves tragically at a 4 pace. So we're going to be going 1, 2, 3, 4. So he is making his way over here as fast as he possibly can. And that's the fastest route he can go. Yeah, that's 4. So he's going to be right here on his way. And then on top of that, we don't have an Affliction anymore, so that's great. We also have to roll for the black market. It's a direction first. It's a 1, so that's going to take it off the board. And because it can't go off the board, I'm going to stop it right there because there's no point in rolling again. It's not going to go off the board, so it's going to stay where it is, tucked up there, which is fine because we could end up potentially using it or getting to it at some point, I hope. So that's going to probably do it for our turn. So that's where I'm going to end it right here for this video. And my biggest question to you guys is, you know, now that we've gone ahead with the Dead King's turn, should I go ahead with the Astrolabe and go ahead and actually do another movement and another event phase for free, essentially, right now, which would have happened if I hadn't moved the Dead King, because I just wanted to do this to clean cut the video. Or should I ignore it and use it for a later time when it's much more useful? Let me know in the comments below. And even besides that fact, if you think I shouldn't use the Astrolabe at all right now because it's way too powerful and much better to use later, let me know what you think I should do next. Now that things have changed in the world, Dead King is now heading towards a new target. Where should we go next? Should we continue to try to get this quest? Should we continue to try to get to a city to turn these both in, to use the helpful commoner to get double the rewards on both of them? That seems really cool. And we do have a city that's right here beside us. We could get there in some very, very quick movements. So what do you think we should do next? Am I kind of heading in the right direction? Give me some thoughts. I would love to hear your suggestions. As always, guys, thanks for watching and keep on rolling solo.